Alright, man. Here's the stuff. Are
Thank
you
you, sir.
doing one of those YouTube things again?
Yeah, I'm reviewing Martin Scorsese's newest film, Silence. Can I see your hands? Thank you. Atone for your sins, your drug dealing
Nah,
sins.
man. I don't do that.
No. We reviewed Silence, so I'm gonna need to see your hands, please. Come on.
No,
Come on,
dude. I need the money you owe
Holy
me.
shit, okay. Well, I don't have any money on me, but what I do have now is the Ecto-1.
Man, you always do this. This isn't gonna
Silence! Welcome to Room 666. My name is Jordan Garcia, and today I'll be reviewing Silence. Silence takes place in 17th century Japan and stars Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver as two priests searching for their mentor. Throughout their search, they spread Catholicism and face religious persecution, like getting their heads chopped off. Although I enjoyed the performances from Kylo Ren and Spider-Man, there are certain moments and certain parts where the Portuguese is off, and sometimes it's even non-existent. Andrew Garfield sometimes sounding like these. Adam Driver's over here sometimes sounding like these. They sounding like these. But sometimes he sounded like these. And sometimes they sound like these. Or sometimes they sound like these. Jesus Christ. Liam Neeson has a pretty small role in the film. Very good in the role. It's a significant role, but it's not really, he does fine. He's fine, but he's not in it enough to make a lasting impact. Liam Neeson. Well, we already talked about Spider-Man and Kylo Ren's shitty accents. Let's talk about the foreign cast. Tadanobu Asano, who plays the Japanese Inquisitor Interpreter, does a great job of bringing dark humor to his scenes with Andrew Garfield. He seems to take great pleasure out of physically and mentally torturing Garfield's character. To me, I thought it was hilarious the way he played off of him. I mean, he just was always laughing at him, and he just thought it was funny.
Step on that shit! Denounce your god!
Oh, God. Oh, God. Am I just reviewing Silence? Scorsese does a great job of tackling the themes of faith and suffering for your faith. When you talk about Silence, you cannot talk about that cinematography. This is cinematographer Rodrigo Prieto's second collaboration with Marty. The cinematography in Silence is subtle and controlled in contrast to the energy and flash of The Wolf of Wall Street. Boy, is it good. Although I enjoyed the film, I wouldn't rank it among Scorsese's best, like Goodfellas and King of Comedy. It's more along the lines of something like Last Temptation of Christ or Kundun. And even though I enjoyed those films, I wouldn't necessarily watch them again, and I wouldn't recommend them to anybody over something like, let's say, Raging Bull. The film shows that Scorsese's not slowing down, and he's not turning into a fucking paint-by-numbers weasel like old Clint Eastwood is. The length of Silence is about 2.5 hours, which is almost the same as Wolf of Wall Street, but in The Wolf of Wall Street you don't feel it at all. In Silence you really do start to feel it. It has that sort of 7 ending syndrome, like The Lord of the Rings. Although I really enjoyed the first half of the film, it does kind of start to slow down a bit in the third act. Now, I think the movie would have been sick if Kylo Ren would have walked up and you just see his Qui-Gon Jinn right there. It's fucking on the floor and these Japanese dudes just have him and he just goes up and he just goes, and he just goes, back the fuck up. Japanese dude started saying something, he said, silence! He just throws the fucking Qui-Gon Jinn one of these things and he just goes, and there's a lot of sort of catching up that they need to do to end it. So there's a lot of voiceover that takes place. There's voiceover throughout the film, but it's done in a way that doesn't really feel like it's just kind of exposition and pushing the plot along. Basically, towards the end, you just get a lot of voiceover from a bunch of different characters. At one point, you even get a character who wasn't even in the movie at all throughout the whole thing. He's just someone who's looking on at the situation and writing it down in a journal. It becomes very strange, and it's not necessarily Scorsese's best work in terms of everything he did with the ending, but the first half of the film and everything leading up to that is really excellent, really great. But I can't recommend it to everybody. If you're a Scorsese fan, if you saw the trailer and you said, hey, that looks like a good film, then I would say go run out and see it now. And honestly, I would say go out and see it because it's supporting independent film and Scorsese needs the money. You know what I mean? He needs to trim those fucking eyebrows. I don't want to be a fucking spoiler weasel or anything. There is a point in the film where the voice of God speaks to Andrew Garfield, and I don't know if he says this exactly, but he says something along the lines of, with great power comes great responsibility. No, Marty, why'd they shut you out for the Oscars? Why? Ugh.